Curse in the red. If you guys want CLG.EU to continue the European dominance coming over to this North American soil, give us a cheer. If you want Curse to come back and keep the party going, let's hear you guys as well.
Well, we have pretty standard item builds, no one going too crazy. One side deciding to go for 3 wards, other one going for 4. It just means I think Crepo didn't go into utility while Elements did. You see the same exact summoners that Voy used last game, this game, in this exact matchup. He's not looking to kill Malphite. I don't think he expects to ever kill Malphite. He thinks that teleport will help him impact the game a lot more. He was able to sneak in a couple kills last time in this matchup with teleport. So,
ooh, nice little poke there against Saint Vicious. They're able to get the ward in to know exactly where he is, but Saint staying in a position that he could stay very defensive. Very good information that they're able to pick up on that, but also backing off here. We see Orianna dropping a little bit of vision there by the ward, so they're both aware of that specific jungle path. They're going to know that CLG.EU actually backed off here. What do you expect to see from Voyboy? When do you expect to see him to start to use that teleport and go for some sort of aggressive play?
He's got to wait till level 6. I feel like if you pre-6 teleport, you're going to have to at least have Flashy to be able to pull it off. So if he goes for the pre-6, it has to be at least after 4, I think. But yeah, definitely when Diana hits 6, she has a tremendous boost in her power level, so it helps her a lot more to be 6 off the gank. And you see something really weird. You see CLG.EU actually looking to 1v2 top, getting the ward on raid camp as well as the ward top lane. So there's not really going to be a way for Saint to be able to look top, especially with a champion like Skarner, who has a very weak level 1 through 6 gank.
So highlighting this middle lane a little bit, we saw that Lee Sin grabbed the big Wraith out of the enemy jungle camp. How much of an impact does that have earlier on in that mid lane matchup? For
solo lanes, it's extremely, even for all lanes, it's extremely important to have the level advantage. That's why a lot of times, especially in Asian teams, you'll see them give the top laners just like free camp, just to have them hit level 2 faster. It means the world. It means, look at how much Frog is able to harass just because he hit level 2.
Yeah, that is a ton of burst that's going to be going down. He's going to be keeping that going, but as Nijaki evens up the levels a little bit, it's going to help. But a gank attempt going in this top lane. Snoopy with double buff, going in for the bandage toss, lands it, but there's a flash coming out from Voyboy. He's going to stay alive for a little while, but without that summoner spell, in this 1v2 situation, it's going to be very hard for him to continue to get the CS.
And you see CLG.EU just go from blue to red, so a very standard invade path. And you see Skarner go for take their red as well. So the early jungle kind of just split even. They force the flash top, which is really, really nice. But Diana actually does pretty well in the 1v2. And you see Snoopy coming mid off this gank.
Yeah, beautiful gank attempt here. This is a little bit further going on. Nijaki using his flash, using his ignite already, but he's going to get taken out for first blood, going to CLG.EU.
That was a really good roam by Crepo. I feel like Jackie should have seen that coming. As soon as Crepo wasn't top, Voy should have either called it or they should have been at least suspicious. Whenever a CC support is missing, you have to be careful in the adjacent lane.
Yeah, a beautiful play here from CLG.EU. They're taking the Korean style, or not necessarily Korean, but Korean heavy style of doing the lane swapping, but then leaving that support as a roaming capability. Very nice for them to pick up that early kill. Sub 3.5 minutes there. It's going to give Froggen even more of a domination in that middle lane. He's already level 4 against Nijak. He's level 3. And they're up by about 600 gold at the moment.
Right. No, Lee Sin is only a problematic champion if you snowball him kills. If he doesn't get kills, he kind of falls off later because it's hard for divers to get in and do damage against a lot of teams. Like there's just it's very problematic to dive onto a lot of different champions in this game. And typically, once you get in, you can't get out due to exhaust and anything else.
And we see Saint Vicious actually doing a really good job of keeping the farm going. He backed off, he grabbed his pendant, so he's going to be able to stay alive a little bit further. Was able to counter jungle as they were getting counter jungle. So keeping the jungle even, maybe even a little bit higher because he didn't spend that time going for the gank. But that assist on Amumu is going to really start to help out Snoopy as well.
Right, as you can see, the early gank gives Froggen a 20 CS lead at 440. That's absolute huge lead. It's going to minimize a little bit because it's at her turn now. Froggen just went back to buy instead of looking for harass. and you see Snoopy actually going the goal per 10 route, but starting with the AP goal per 10. This is the patch where he tells me he loves DFG on the Moo, so he's gonna get DFG this game, almost 100%.
A very sad Mummy running around there, going to be starting to assassinate people later on. That's going to give him a lot of AP, where every single one of his abilities is just going to do that much more damage in these gank attempts that he's going to have. And as Wicked gets closer to level 6, he's going to be in a position where when Snoopy and potentially even Froggen rotate down to that bottom lane, they're going to be able to start to do some serious damage to top and elements.
Right. To counter off the 1v2, Saint comes top, and he's going to hold the Tower Wide Void back because he has no mana. Very smart move.
Yeah, nice coordination from Curse. Starting to see a little bit of the practice that they've been able to get in. A lot more is yet to come as they move into the Season 3 attempt, but it's still a very good indicator for how things are going to be going overall. Like the aggression out of Void Boy, what a lot of people are saying is that combined with Saint Vicious, they're able to play the style that they really want and get the full potential out of each individual player.
Right. What people don't really, or what people forget, is that this is actually Curse's first time they've ever played CLG.EU. I think before this they've played one match on LAN somewhere, or I think on one match on either on LAN or online. So they're actually like, it's very hard for either team to know too much about each other's playstyles without playing them once before. And so this is completely new. I know a lot of Curse members were very excited to play CLG.EU just to be able to play against very strong competition.
Yeah, and that is the most important thing. If you're practicing a matchup and you're not going up against a good player, you're not going to know if it's actually any good. You're not going to know if this Lee Sin is able to just completely shut down your Orianna until you play against someone like Froggen. And then you realize that he can completely just push you out of lane whenever he wants to.
Right, Froggen, 2 Dorans up on mid right now. Mid hasn't shopped yet, so... But mid will have to go back because she's low on mana. Froggen can use his time to look to take Wraith Camp or roam as he sees fit, because Jackie can't outshove him right now.
Yeah, going back to the Cage's lucky pick on Amumu, this is kind of indicative that he's going to be the one that's pushing out a lot of the magic damage for the team, depending on how Malphite goes. We've seen some AP Malphites in the past that start to do ridiculous amount of burst damage, but with Snoopy there, he's able to keep that AoE damage for the entire team.
And you see a gank coming along bottom lane, Wicked looking to pressure Snoopy coming in, but Cop realizes he's in a bad spot, he doesn't have much mana, and he backs out.
And that's where a lot of that vision comes in. They have a decent amount of intelligence available to them, so they're going to be able to know when to back off there. But that leaves Snoopy a little bit of an opportunity to go in there and get a little bit of vision onto St. Vicious. They know when the blue's going to be going down. It looks like they might actually be coming together for it.
I don't think they saw the Moo ward.
This could be very dangerous. They could even go up against elements. Here comes Froggen with the initiation, but not actually going to follow it up.
I thought
Blue buff does get taken out by
Froggen
Jackie.
should have gone in there. I don't think they saw Jackie's mana though. They assumed it was full, but Jackie literally had 100 mana there. Even with Blue buff, it would have taken him time for him to regen it back, and Froggen could have done work on those two members because Skarner had already left.
Were they aware that Skarner had transitioned back to mid?
No, and that's the one problematic area. I don't know if they knew Jackie's mana. Although no, they had a warn there, so they knew his mana, but they didn't know the location of Skarner. So it was a risky play, but I would have liked to see Froggen going on that.
The fans, I'm sure, would have liked to see it, but they kind of want to keep everything paced nicely. This is a decent pressure match for these guys, $15,000 on the line, and it is early in the morning. This is the first match that these guys are playing. They need a little bit of warm-up going on before they start making those crazy plays, maybe with Yellow Pete, now that he's hit level 6, with the True Shot Barrage coming to help out as well.
Wicked being very confident in the ability to kill bottom lane. He typically, when you're 1v2ing as Malphite, or even 1v1, you go a gold pretend because it's just the ideal build to go. But he went Sork Shoes and a Doran's Shield. Like, he's looking to kill bottom lane, either off a gank or by himself.
And he's keeping a CS relatively even with Void Boy in the top lane, so not going that gold per 5 is balanced out by Void Boy also not going the gold per 5. So when you do a split, well, here we got a gank attempt coming in here. Elements is getting jumped on by Wicked. A lot of damage coming out, but it's not going to be the finish off until Snoopy comes in with a Moo. He's going to be able to start crying a little bit, taking him out. Cop is going to be taken as well.
Wow.
Beautiful start for CLG.EU, as in the mid lane, they're able to go one-on-one. Froggen taking a kill, but no, Void Boy in the top lane with St. Fish is actually going to be able to counter out that a little bit and put Curse on the board.
Right, Skarner gets a pull on Crepo, and I think he got it while he was flashing, which is just like the worst. Because on this patch, you can do that, but on the patch on live, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a fix there for Skarner to make it a little bit more intuitive for newer players. But as these really experienced players are taking advantage of every little thing they can in this game, we see that Wicked's in that 1v2 lane, now that he has his own little breathing room, able to push up to the turret, put on a little bit of hurt, which is awesome to have happen in 1v2.
So right now, this is the reason why people consider Froggen like extremely devastating. He's 2-0 in lane right now with a 50 CS advantage just off the early kill, and it let him snowball to like his full potential. And he's such a high threat now that Orianna can barely lane. I don't like Jackie's build here. I know a lot of people like to stick with their builds regardless of whether or not who goes mid. But if you're gonna go like the extra MR from Chalice does not help you at all. I would rather have liked to see a Rod build because then he would have been able to live better against the Lee Sin pressure and still be able to scale decently well into late game with better survivability.
Would you say that Jackie's not really playing to this particular game, but just kind of playing what he's used to?
Right.
More like a solo queue?
Right. No. It's just like people are used to just buying the ideal items for them, and sometimes you really have to think outside the box or think for yourself a little bit on this. It's still not too bad because Orianna is a very safe middle lane champion, but still, I would say it's very, very dangerous to go that build against a farm Lee Sin.
And we're going to start to have a farm Amumu as well. He's finished off his 3rd gold per 5. He's going to be generating more gold than these laners are actually going to be getting. Amazing job from him. I want to see what those numbers are going to actually be posted on at the end. But that's also going to allow him to focus a little bit more on going for the ganks, not necessarily need to farm out his jungle, as we see him kind of move up here for the lane gank in the top lane.
And right now, Void's actually a pretty significant threat. It's very hard for them to push him out. But Froggen goes in on Saint Vicious mid, and he's 2 levels above Saint. He can... Okay, no, never mind. He just baits out Saint's ulti.
But the dragon kick is just going to zone him out. He's going to be able to get away completely safely. Yellow Pete trying to lure Voyboy in, and he is actually going to get lured in completely. The stun coming out from Snoop A. They knew what amount of damage was going to be able to be put on by Voyboy. Able to take him out with that very nice alluring bait from Yellow Pete. Nice job by him to know what amount of health he could keep on him and still be able to stay in the fight. But we have Saint Vicious following up in the lane, maybe able to do something about this, but no, Yellow Pete has already slipped away.
And so because they know that Saint's top, Froggen may choose this time to look to roam or look to put more pressure middle. He's 60 CS up on middle now. I think he's eyeing for either the last Whisper build that he really likes a lot or going for a BF sword after this phase.
And Froggen, because he's so far ahead in that mid lane, he is able to break away a little bit, go for this dragon. Gonna try to solo it, actually. 12.5 minutes in, they're up by 4 kills, up by 2.5k gold. If they finish this dragon, that's going to increase that lead even further.
Right.
They're really settling into the momentum that they want to be. It's also going to allow them to start taking down those first tier 1 turrets and then move to the team fights.
This was so smart by Froggen. Not many people not many middle laners can 1v1 dragon, but Lee Sin's kit is so strong. He's a jungler. Like his kit is a jungling kit, and he's able to self-sustain a lot while being able to take out high priority single target threats.
And Voyboy, realizing that he's not doing too well in the 1v2 situation, actually going to rotate down to the bottom lane, see if he can pick up a little bit of CS against Wicked in the 1v1, but allowing Cop also to farm on his own in the top lane. It's going to give him a little bit of extra experience, also going to allow him to push up this top lane when they have the time available. Once they realize that Dragon has been taken, which I'm sure they're already aware of, they're going to be feeling a little disappointed, but also realizing that the pressure is on for them to make something happen somewhere else on the map.
Right. Both the AD carries going for the Trinity Force first rush. Certainly not a bad build. Definitely a good build a decent build on both of these characters. Very safe, gives you a lot of health and a lot of burst damage that you look for in trades. Froggen deciding for the BF sword and not going for the last Whisper rush that he's done a lot in solo queue. I have to just think that that's because he's really far ahead, so he doesn't really need to consider going a last Whisper because he can just get the Thirster before 20 minutes, more than likely.
Yeah, level 11 for Froggen. He is the highest in the game. Oh, well, he was just 2 levels over Nijaki, but now only 1. Nijaki is starting to catch up a little bit, but now that Skarner's coming down to help him out, maybe going to stand a chance at getting this first gank in the mid lane. That would help him reset a little bit, give him a little bit of mental edge as well. Maybe be able to turn that Chalice into something a little bit more useful for the lane matchup. But Froggen starting to roam like crazy. Jumping all around the map, jumping to wards, jumping to minions, and soon going to be jumping to the enemy champions that he's just going to kick to wherever he wants them to go.
Yeah, funny enough, they could just 1v2 middle. Like, Crepo doesn't even need to be top. It looks like they're baiting the jungler here. Froggen is strong enough to where, like, this is Oh, wow.
They could 1v2, but this is actually a 1v3 situation. A lot of damage going down onto Froggen. St. Fish is going to be able to finish him off. We got a teleport coming in from Voyboy. They're going to try to push down the top turret. This is what Curse needed to do to get back into the game. They're going to be going for the dive. They do take out Creepo as well. The final little attack from Creepo is not going to be able to do enough, and that's going to be the first turret of the game going down in favor of Curse, bringing the gold lead a little bit more in their favor. Only 2,000 lead for CLG.
No, that was a really good play by Curse. They were able to turn around what I thought was a decent play by CLG, a decent bait by CLG.EU. Unfortunately, the Froggen actually looked to go in instead of going back immediately, and he got caught mid-Q by Skarner ulti.
A little bit unfortunate there for CLG.EU in the beginning, but now they're going to be able to turn that around, taking down both the mid and the bottom turrets. They're balancing this out beautifully. A little bit of a sacrifice there in the beginning by Froggen, a little overconfident, but that's going to help mellow him out a little bit. Make it so that for the rest of the game, not nearly as many mistakes are going to be coming out from him. And now we have Zyra picking up that Oracle's Elixir, going to be able to go around the map, remove a lot of that ward coverage that Curse has put down. They've got really good vision at the moment. They're going to know the entire movement of the enemy team in the upper jungle, a little bit of the lower jungle as well. A few more minutes for Dragon, so that's not really an objective concern for them. But now that these first tier turrets are down, the zone control that they have is not there anymore. How is this really going to affect what they focus on moving into the mid game?
It just means that CLG.EU has a lot more map pressure, like just inherently because they have the first tier turrets down. It means that CLG.EU is going to be looking to put pressure on the top turret, especially because there's 2.5 minutes left before Dragon, and Curse knows this, which is why Saint is hovering around that top lane so much.
Yeah, now that he's picked up his oracles as well, he's going to be able to hover even further. Just do one sweep, take out the vision, come back, and start to take out the players.
You see Orianna slowly coming back in terms of CS. This is what happens when you early push down a lane. Is that
we have a jump onto Yellow Pete, or onto St. Vicious. Yellow Pete going in there, but he does get grabbed and he gets impaled and pulled away. However, this is a 4-man dive coming up from CLG.EU. Very strong. They're able to take down St. Vicious immediately. Zyra falls on the other side, but it doesn't matter because they're able to take down Corki. However, Curse saying something about that as well and taking down Yellow Pete. It is a 2-for-2. This is what Curse is looking for, and CLG.EU just being a little bit over-aggressive again. They trying to push the limits of their champions to figure out what they actually have available to them. Finding out that it's not as strong as they thought, but even still, they had a strategy planned for it. They have Wicked in the bottom lane, just continuing to split push.
Right.
Voyboy's coming down, but he's got to do something about it.
I feel like that was a good call by CLG.EU. Like, that dive was fine. Just that Jackie actually collapsed really fast. I thought he collapsed a lot faster than I thought he would. And overall, like, Curse played it okay, but there was no reason for Diana to go top lane. She was already way too far away. Had Diana rotated bottom, she would have picked up more CS and XP and not have given Wicked free reign of the lane. Like, he got multiple waves and was able to get tower pressure on the second turret. And that's what kind of happens. Like, you always want to help out your teammates, but a lot of times you have to just like let them do their own thing and be able to look at all the objectives at once and see what needs the most help from you as a player.
Yeah, it is very important. This is a team game. Everyone on the team needs to pull their weight. They need to be in the right position at the right time. And what you need to do to be able to gain that ability is just playing a lot together. This is a new lineup for Curse. A lot of kinks are going to need to be worked out, but we're already seeing a lot of moments of brilliance from these guys, and this could be the new North American powerhouse once they get off their feet.
Right, and you already see DFG's looking to be built by Diana as well as Snoopy. Funny enough, he's finished most of it already. It may be that Snoopy buys the Abyssal Scepter before he buys the DFG. I can definitely see that. It help out his team a lot as well. Froggen 4-1 right now. He's still got a 40 CS lead on mid. Jackie just picking up his Grail, so he's finally gotten to the point where he's a factor in games. And Froggen blows Element's Flash on cooldown, pretty much the last 2 cooldowns.
Yeah, great job by them. They're also here with 4 players at the Dragon. Got that timer on lockdown. Curse wasn't able to see exactly when it was going on, so that's going to be another free Dragon going to CLG.EU. Getting the gold lead at 19 minutes, up to about 4,500 gold. Very comfortable lead for CLG.EU, especially since they're so good at keeping the game in their control, pacing it out how they want it to be. So now they have that little bit of a lead. They can start to push those team fights. They can start to take even more advantage.
They're looking to collapse here. He has no flash. He's definitely...
And Element's getting caught right out in the beginning. He tries to use his crescendo, but doesn't actually do anything effective. He gets taken down immediately. Only a little bit of damage on the CLG.EU lineup, so they're going to be able to continue this push going on with a pretty large minion wave. It looks like they might actually be going into the jungle instead.
Yeah, Wicked's looking to use his ulti. He's positioning himself really far ahead of his team just to be able to look for ideal ultis that hit multiple targets.
Sorry, hearing the yelling from StarCraft's crowd as well. We got a lot of excitement from different games here. If you want to check out what other games are going on here at Lone Star Clash 2, head over to testba.org and you're going to be able to see all the lineups for everything, full schedules for the day. We got another League of Legends match happening at the same time. We'll try to get you updates as this is going on. But already now, CLG.EU settling into a very strong rhythm for themselves, able to take away a little bit of the enemy jungle. Not enough that Saint Vicious is being kept behind too much. He is still 20 CS over Amumu, but those 2, 0, and 4, the extra gold from actually being able to take down enemy champions, plus the 3 gold per 5 items on Amumu is just helping him be that much of a dominant force.
The biggest problem right now is that Froggen pretty much gets free reign over whatever lane he wants to go to. They need at least 2 people to kill him, and even with 2 people, they need multiple summoners to even hope to get a kill on him. And that's problematic because he can just look to the split push by himself. If he literally did nothing but split push and had his team in another lane as 4, they can potentially just win the game just by split pushing with Lee Sin because he is so far ahead right now. Especially because he just picked up his thirster. I thought he would get it by 20 minutes, and it's 21 minutes, so my prediction is still a little bit there behind my mid, but he also picked some Merc treads as well.
Yeah, those Merc treads are going to help him to make sure that he doesn't get shut down quite as badly from the AP damage dealers on the Cursed lineup. Nijacky's starting to get to the point where he is able to put on a lot of poke damage depending on where they try to siege a particular turret, but like you're saying, the main fear that Curse is going to be having is about the split pushing. We're seeing Wicked doing a great job of split pushing right now, but once Froggen starts breaking away, he's going to be even scarier than what Wicked's doing right now.
Yeah, the amount of map control that CLG.EU has is insane, and this might be a dead Jackie. Oh.
Well then.
Yeah. Jackie just went too far ahead. That Amumu has over 40 Magic Pen with his passive, and it was anytime you get caught by Amumu now, he does so much damage that he becomes like a huge threat. Even with had Yellow P not been there, Amumu still would have been able to take down Jackie about 80% of his health.
Yeah, Mumu is normally the tank of the team. He does have a little bit of a stain item on him. He has the Abyssal Scepter, which is going to help him against Voyboy and Nijackie a lot. But the amount of damage that's coming out of him, we just saw him be able to lock down whoever he wants to, deal a decent amount of damage with that, and set it up for the rest of his team to just obliterate whoever they want. Yep,
Froggen just looking to split push. He rotates between 2 lanes that people aren't in, and that's all he does. He shoves out the lane, gets CS, and gets ahead.
Yeah, this is the CS that's really coming into effect here. Over 220 CS for Froggen, 22 minutes into the game. They're up now 3 turrets to 1, only 1 turret in the top lane down for them, and that fell because there was a very strong dive coming from Cursed, able to take down a couple champions. That's the only real moment of victory for Cursed, and as that happened, they lost 2 turrets at the same time. So not a whole lot happening for them, but a flash impale and a victory there. But in the meantime, there is a Froggen versus Voyboy duel going down in the bottom lane. He is going to get taken down under turret. Almost got away there, but not quite able to. That's going to allow Froggen to be even further ahead. 6-1-0 at the moment. He's doing a great job as the rest of his team is going to hold the middle turret, continue to deal damage. Saint Fish is getting caught a little bit, but going to be able to get away, dodging the True Shot Barrage, able to finish that off, but unfortunately Orianna and Corki with Elements also falling. That's going to be a 4-for-1 overall in the past minute, allowing a Baron opportunity if they want to be going for it, but Saint Vicious is still alive. He's being chased away by Froggen, not going to be alive for much longer. That is the ace for CLG.EU. This Baron's going to go down very quickly. If oh, Snoop Egg gets taken down.
Really solid mechanical play by Froggen. That's a real reason why he's so good at Lee Sin and his other champions, is that he's just a very solid mechanical player. And right now, Froggen with 7-1 and that much lifesteal, he can just tank Baron indefinitely.
And that is what he's going to be trying to do, but it's not going to be indefinite because that Baron does have a finite amount of life. He does have a buff that CLG.EU wants, and whatever CLG wants, they get. There it goes. That's going to be a huge advantage for them. 24 minutes into the game, 10,000 gold lead. This is where CLG.EU is very comfortable being, but Sadamumu is very sad.
No, that was a very solid play by... The thing about that is, like, Curse made a solid play. They baited the Oracle from Crepo. However, the fact that they wanted to extend their lead by pushing mid was a bad idea. Because they had Skarner ulti down, they really didn't have Diana either, because Diana got kicked at the bottom lane and killed by Froggen. So they had to best force like a 3v4, and they weren't they didn't have ultis except for Jackie's ult. So it wasn't ideal. They should have just taken the kill, been able to clear Baron and look to rotate back the lanes and go back to, and wait for Skarner ulti again. Because that's the only time they're going to be able to get kills, is with Flash and Skarner ulti up again.
A little bit more than 3 minutes left for this Baron buff. This is a best of 3 series. Do you think, and we also know that Curse is a very emotional team. Do you think they're in the point where they're like, all right, let's see what we can do as far as defense, but not really focus too much of our emotional strength on this particular match and focus on the second game, or are they still going to be focused on this 100%?
I feel like a lot of their players are experienced. They'll be able to just take this game as a learning lesson, because whenever you play against CLG.EU, like, a lot of people talk about teams and they're like, well, this team is really good, but some of the times it's really not obvious until you play against them. And because I definitely don't think Curse has faced this caliber of mid player before, and it definitely shows because Frog is able to just run train on a lot of their team, and they forced initiation on Repo here. It's going to turn out ugly.
Yeah, they grabbed Wicked, brought him in. He was able to stun the entire team. There's going to be the first elimination on Boy Boy. Elements following shortly after, and the rest of the team is en route. They're going to need to try to escape, but Mumu coming in from the flank, able to lock them down completely. There's a triple kill for Froggen, starting this day off extremely well.
Yep, no, they forfeit. They know the game is over, and I agree with that. Froggen picked up straight bot at GA there, and there's really nothing they can do to stop the initiation, and they don't do enough damage to kill anyone.